Hey guys, in today's episode, we're going to talk about the journey of learning how to trade and address the question of, is it better to have a single mentor or multiple mentors to learn from? Unfortunately, it's going to depend on your interpretation of the market. And that is the unfortunate part of trading. Now, at the end of the day, it stinks as someone learning. But as a trader, it doesn't really make a difference because at the end of the day, the only definitions that matter are the definitions that you follow. But when you're learning, again, this was kind of the subject of the podcast I put out today, it's hard because you'll hear me say it's not a double top, and then you'll go over to Internet Joe and he'll say, oh yeah, this is a double top, and then another book will call something else a double top, and then someone else will say, hey, we can break and close below and it's still a double top as long as it's in this range, and Akil says it has to test the highest high but not violate it, and there's just no common terminology, unfortunately. Bobby says, I think that's why it's good to have 1 to 2 voices, mentors to begin with rather than lots. Yeah, and it's tough in the beginning because you don't, before you can find your mentor. You have to kind of do your work. You got to try different things out. It's kind of like I've never done this, but I could imagine like speed dating. Right? I think speed dating, if you guys are unfamiliar with it, like it's, I don't know if they have tables or booths, but there's like a bunch of booths, I guess, chairs, tables. And then what happens is you get like a certain amount of time at each one. So you get like 1 minute here and then 1 minute here to kind of do your elevator pitch, whatever like that. And then at the end of the day, do you fill out a card? Do you go to someone? Anybody speed date? You don't have to admit to that. But I don't know if you just wait for someone outside and be like, hey, I like you. You like me? Or do you I don't know if you fill out a card to say you're interested. I don't know how it works. But you experience a lot of different things, a lot of different people. But you have to kind of figure out what is the right mix. Or I guess like dating in general, I guess, which it's, by the way, it's got to be super hard to date in these times. Not just with the internet time where everyone's using like social media apps to find people and half the people are fake. But like with COVID, right? Like you can't see what people look like. Everyone's got that mask on. Like what's underneath that mask? It could be anything. It could be anything. I don't like the unknown. I wouldn't like you meet someone in COVID, they're the nicest person, and they unveil that mask and it's like an alligator mouth or something. That you could, I don't know. But people use Tinder and other dating apps, and you look through people, and I guess you talk and message to each other, and you try to you make the best guess at who's the right fit, and like Bobby said, you pick 1 or 2, and then you dive in a little bit deeper, and then you probably settle on 1 or 2 after that. I was fortunate. I had 2 mentors. I think we're set up very similar to Jason and myself, although me and Jason are more similar in trading style. But I had 2 mentors, so it was cool to hear 2 different perspectives on the market from 2 different people. And I think that's exactly how it is with Jason and myself, where we don't trade the same, but our principles are the same. Like we trade, I don't want to say completely differently, but we trade different ways, but the underlying principles of how we trade are exactly the same. And I think it's cool to have that because, one, it gives you options where it's like, hey, I like Jason's style a lot more than Akil's, or hey, I like Akil's style a lot more than Jason's. But especially as a newer trader, you can kind of dive in and you can be like, hey, Jason trades this way, Akil trades that way, Darren trades this way, Charles trades that way. But at the end of the day, when it comes to explaining how we trade, it all starts with the same thing, where it's like, hey, rules-based trading, hey, process, hey, structure, hey, candlestick recognition. And I think it's cool to see that however, at least this is our philosophy, however you want to trade, it all stems from having a very strong foundation. Again, who cares what type of house you're building, right? It is irrelevant if the foundation isn't strong. Like before you even see the house on the top, you see the foundation being built. And that's the most important part. So I think you're 100% right, Bobby. It's cool to have different mentorship because you don't want to get sucked. I don't think you want to get sucked into the same message all the time because it doesn't really give you a way to grow. You're kind of stuck thinking, and it depends on the mentor. I think we're pretty open on saying, like, I mean, I spent all day saying, hey guys, you can do whatever the hell you want. Just be great at it. But you'll have some mentors like, who is it? I won't put any names out there because I'll get yelled at on the internet. But there are some mentors out there where it's like, no, if you're not trading my way, you're an idiot. You have to trade this way. You have to. And they can be a great trader and you can learn a lot from them. But the problem is you may fall into this fixed mindset where it's like you're brainwashed never to evolve because this trader has consistently bashed you over the head with, hey, it has to be this way. It has to be that way. It has to be that way. I think it's more important to be able to grow because we need to evolve as traders. It's the only way we're going to find out how we can create and use a trading style that meets our personality, one that fits our lifestyle. But it also allows us to make changes because, again, if the biggest lesson I learned in trading was that the market conditions change. I thought I was going to be a pattern trader for my whole life. I had one pattern that worked really, really great. I added a second. I'm like, boom, I'm set for the rest of my life. And then market conditions change and you have to, if you don't have the ability to adapt, you're going to fail. Businesses. Businesses are the same way. How many great businesses did we see struggle when COVID came because they couldn't adapt? They were so used to doing one thing one way and they refused to do anything else. And all of a sudden conditions change, right? The cards are shuffled a little bit differently. And now it's, you see the smart businesses survive because they're smart. They can analyze a situation and come up with a solution. Where the dumb businesses are kind of like, they're dumb. They just like, I'm just going to keep banging my head against the wall until it works. And if it doesn't work, I'm going to keep doing it. And then they're concussed and bloody on the ground. Right? Football. So, yeah, I think it's good to have that. I think it's cool. And I tell you guys all this all the time. Like once you get to a certain level, there's nothing wrong with exploring other mentors or traders. There's nothing wrong with Bobby coming to me and saying like, hey, I found this cool guy on the internet and that guy's gonna, I want to learn from him. Like there's no personal pride factor where it's like, oh, we're being dumped. No, Bobby, you can't ever go somewhere else. No, like we want you to grow. And hopefully the role that we play is building that foundation and it allows you to have those principles, right? We see it all the time where it's like you talk to people like Mike Bellafiore, where you talk to the people that have been funded by prop firms, and it's like the biggest thing they always say. We had a group of traders years ago that started a hedge fund. It's like they knew what to do, and you go to people that maybe go to prop firms and they have to trade a different way, and it's not hard for them to make those adjustments because they have a solid foundation. They're able to make adjustments based on risk rules. They're able to make adjustments based on time of day trading, right? Where if you try to go to a prop firm and you're stuck in, you only know one way to trade. I only trade Gartleys. And you go to a prop firm and like, nah, we're not about this pattern stuff, buddy. What else you got? I'm done. I'm screwed. I don't have any other skill. Like all I know is a pattern. I don't have a skill. I know a strategy. That's it. And it's scary. It's scary. So, yep. It's not what to trade, but how to trade. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. If you want some more awesome content, make sure you check out the Trader Coffee Break. These are weekly episodes that Jason Grayson and myself do over on YouTube discussing really the topics that matter the most to you as traders. So just go over to that YouTube site, hit the search thing, type in Trader Coffee Break. The channel should pop up. Make sure you subscribe. That way you don't miss our new weekly episodes.